Hi, everybody. I am so excited. Welcome to Gua Sha Tutorial 101. At least it's a 101 class for me. I'm Indy Lee, in case you weren't sure, and I think it's to my right, although I always get mixed up when we're doing these virtual classes, is Gianna Della Torre, who is one of the founders of Wildling Tools. They also have, I would say, Wildling Beauty, because you also have some incredible products. I actually use their products too. So, yes, Indy Lee does use other people's products as well. Gianna, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy to be here. I love collaborating with other brands and just like I think this is like such a beautiful community of green beauty, and so it's always nice to like share the space. And I think it's true of all of us. Like we all use each other's products, and it's a very close knit, special community. So thank you for having me here, and I can't wait to share Gua Sha.
I know. And it's so funny because for those who were just joining, I put a poll up. And so, okay. So we've got 7 yeses, 4 no's. And the people who said no all said it was because they don't wash it regularly because they don't know. And I think that is the most common comment that I get. And I see Rebecca's on here too. Rebecca's our VP of Clean and one of my business partners. And when we do events together, we talk about using, gua shas because I gua sha on a regular basis, and I know Beck loves to too. And people say, "Oh, I want to, but I don't know how to do it." And I think they're afraid they're going to do it wrong and probably cause more damage or wrinkles. And that's why I thought this would be such a valuable thing to do today with you.
Yeah, and this is something that anyone can integrate into their skincare routine. Using any of the products that you use, you really just need like the right slip and a few key techniques in order to really get amazing results. I'm an acupuncturist, so I came to Gua Sha from like a very clinical perspective, and like my biggest takeaway from my first experience with Gua Sha was that I had like really bad pain as like a student in 2005 in acupuncture school, and one of my professors did Gua Sha on my back, and it was like instant gratification for pain relief. And cut to like many years later in my practice where I started focusing more on cosmetic acupuncture and facial Gua Sha. And it's like that instant gratification, which I'm sure anyone who's done it can attest to. It's like you're feeling one way and then you do Gua Sha and you feel better. Like you look better, you feel better. So that's really like the heart and soul of what we try to share, is that, you can have it all and still have it be green and clean and natural. And yeah, it is a new technique, but it's like gaining a lot of popularity. So it's been exciting to see the technique grow. And I think that's like the biggest thing whenever anything grows, like you just want people to do it right.
And that's why, thank you for doing this. I know our community was so excited about it because, again, I think people are a little confused, or they'll just watch, like they'll see some people do it and they'll just go like this, or they'll go like this and go like that, not realizing that it needs to be like this, which you're going to go through everything. Do not follow along with me. You're going to follow along with her. But I think the other part, in addition to all the benefits that I definitely, as you're going through, I'd love for you to talk to for everybody, but you feel better just connecting with yourself and slowing down. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the other benefits of washing is you are connecting with yourself and taking some sacred time to
Yeah.
to connect with yourself. And yes, it also helps that, everything lifts. But that's honestly, for me, that's a side benefit. It's just that connecting
Mhm.
feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's like the sensation of it is the thing that keeps us coming back, because you start becoming more acutely aware of the tension that you store in your face and the stress that you store in your face, and you notice that you like crave it.
Yeah.
And like the other piece of that is that your face is a homunculus for your entire body. So in the same way you can do foot reflexology or hand reflexology or receive like auricular ear acupuncture, you can also treat the entire body with the face. So when you're working on the face in this way, you're also opening up the meridians in the whole body, which is why it's like such a beautiful holistic practice, because you're also like balancing your energy. And a little factoid that my partner Britta received from an anthropologist was that like these small micro movements on the face actually like deeply stimulate this like well-being in us of like resetting the nervous system, because back in our primate days, we used to like groom each other only when like all was well in the animal kingdom. And so we still have this programming where like someone's like playing with your hair, or you're doing these like little gentle movements on the face. It actually starts to reset the nervous system. So there's like some really interesting science around why this is like so deeply relaxing and calming, in addition to obviously like the cosmetic benefits.
Like when you think about it, it makes sense. And I don't know about anybody who's watching. I know if someone like like you go for a massage, like a body massage, and then they do a little bit of micro massaging around here, and everything just opens up. It's
Yes,
so true.
totally.
But I mean, and for me, I'm going to bet that there are a ton of people who are watching this who feel the same way. I store so much right in my jaw
Yeah.
that's what feels so good to me, is
Mm-hmm.
just loosening that up, because when I wake up, there's so much tension there that I didn't
Yeah.
even know I had. I mean, who knew? I thought I was sleeping nicely, but turns out not so much. I'm grinding my teeth and clenching it. So I see people are saying, yes, exactly. And other people are saying they're not sure how to use when they have more mature, sensitive skin. And yes, I don't have sensitive, but I definitely have the more mature skin now. But that was one of the bigger concerns that I had as I was getting older, is I didn't want to pull and create more lines. I'm going to say that. I mean, I am pro aging. I love myself at every age, but that doesn't mean I want to highlight or add more lines to said face.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like we want to look good and we want to feel good and we want to like stay green with it. And I think you can have all of those things. And you know, it's unfortunate, like we're very much like an Instagram brand, so we're very like on social media a lot. And I think sometimes like people with more mature skin feel a little bit like alienated, because most of the people posting are like 40 and under. And that's just kind of like a generation gap. But like I'm always talking to Britta about like, I wish that we had more followers who are like posting, because those people like with really mature skin, like although I've treated people all the way like into their like 80s, 90s, like the results are so incredible. It's just that like those people aren't the ones who are like taking before and after pictures. And so you know, just based on like the design of like social media these days, I think maybe it's easy to feel like you can only get results if you're like under a certain age. But it's absolutely not true. I mean, everyone is going to notice a difference, and there's a way to safely work on every skin type. It's not just that it's only safe for one skin type. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's like really for everyone.
I think that's important for everybody who's tuning in to know, is that at any age you can use this practice, and see benefits both physically, mentally, spiritually, etc. Before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about what makes your stones so unique? Because I do find that, first of all, I'm a klutz, so when I drop it, it doesn't smash. That's number one. I don't recommend you guys dropping it, but different than when you buy some other ones that are really colored glass, is what I'm learning. But what makes yours so special?
So this is like something that we wanted to create with like all of our line. Like, okay, how can we like really nerd out on the ingredients and the quality and like the spirit of the practice of Gua Sha? So Beyond Stone is from China. Beyond Stone was created when a meteor struck a mountain in China. So it has this kind of like cosmic impact effect that created a stone that has a measurable ultrasound pulsation. It has a measurable far infrared wave. And there's, you know, Beyond Stone is one of the original 4 pillars of Chinese medicine. So it even predates acupuncture in its therapeutic use. So one of like the original medicines of the Taoist practice of Chinese medicine was stone medicine. And so this is like also in alignment with where a lot of like crystal healing comes in, and the energetics of stones was used like medicinally. So people would like use certain properties of stones to like infuse into their water, and like it was like the original medicine, you know, stone medicine. So we were like, why would we use any other stone than kind of like the original stone that was used for Gua Sha? And I know that that's kind of like debatable, because it depends on like who wrote the book. But There's also a lot of things that have been used traditionally for gua sha in the home, whether it's like ox horn, spoons, like, coining. All of these different tools have been used, but we really resonated with Beyond Stone, and then really like the fact that it's a fairly like non-porous stone, which means that it's not going to like, certain crystals have like these little flaws in them that can kind of like hold on to like dead skin cells and bacteria and stuff like that. There's also like an ethical question around like crystal mining that we wanted to just kind of like be conscious of. Like Beyond Stone is mainly mined for like gua sha tools, so it's not as like widely used for so many things. So we felt that it was like a more ethical choice in addition to all of the other reasons that I mentioned. And these are the two stones that I personally designed. Basically, this is like our face stone, our Empress stone for the face, and our brand new launch, our Aura stone for the body. And both of these are like, you can see like the slight size differential. But our Empress stone for the face really is like the design that I've always dreamed of to be able to use on the face come to life. So that's like a product of 15 years of studying Chinese medicine and using gua sha and having it be like a pillar of what's really special to my practice. And so I'll go through it, like explaining what each angle of the stone is for.
I have my wand. Can everybody hear me now? I realized I was a little too far away from the microphone. So hopefully, okay, no problem. Okay, sorry, I was trying to back up so I had better lighting, but I want you to hear me. Okay, so yeah, I have both.
Too. I've got like this little guy, which is like our dream for the jaw.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought it was in here. See, guys, I'm learning too.
There too, like it's great for in here, but like I love this tool in my jaw. And this is almost like more of like a facial massage tool. Like I wouldn't necessarily see this and be like gua sha. But so this is like a really beautiful facial massage tool that's so intuitive to use, and you can just like get into all of your spots. So those are our three stones. I can't take credit for this design. It's like a design that a shape that has been around for like a long time for acupressure and stuff like that. But it's just a really great combination with the Empress stone.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. And people are like, oh no, I have a rose quartz. That's fine too, guys. You're going to see the benefit today, I assure you. But yeah, this is why this tool, I fell in love with Wildling. And I actually went to San Francisco for an event for one of our retailers, Credo. And I was really fortunate because I got to get into the class with Gianna, and I just fell in love with it more, and how she does the tutorial that I was like, I would love to do an event. And then here we are, pandemic. And I'm like, hey, let's do an event like this online and now meet everybody where they are, which is at home. And this will be recorded, and I will make sure this goes on to YouTube as well. So, okay, walk us through. And we already got a question. So you can ask questions, guys, there's a bottom, there's polls, and then you can see ask a question. And one of the questions that we got is, if you do gua sha and then stop for a while, does your skin change like it's not lifted anymore? So I think people are wanting to know, is this permanent?
That's a great question. So the results that we see are immediate and short term, and also cumulative over time. So for example, like with certain allergens, I'll wake up like really puffy, and I'll just like carry so much puffiness into my sinuses. And I'm sure like all of us have the experience of waking up with like puffy eyes. So, I'll do it like in the morning if I'm feeling that way, and my skin will depuff, and I'll feel like I'll look so much better. I'll feel better. It even opens my sinuses. And then if I were to like go to sleep again and have those same allergens, like I might get puffy again. But the good thing is if I'm using regular gua sha, it's actually going to like decrease my reaction even to those allergens over time, because you're actually like clearing the lymphatic fluid from the skin. So that's the answer, is like you're going to notice immediate results. And then if you were to like look at yourself after doing it for a month regularly, you'll also notice these more cumulative results. And then if you stopped doing it altogether for like a while, then yeah, your skin might like return to a space of like how it was before. So it is recommended to do it like 2 to 3 times a week, kind of ongoing and as needed. And I know certain people who just do it like every now and then when they want to like go out and apply makeup and like feel like they look good, or like makeup artists use it in that way. So I think there's like a way for everyone to kind of integrate it into their lives to get the results they want.
Fantastic. Okay, so I know people, another question is, which is better, Gua Sha, or I think it means, or a jade roller? I use both, but I'm kind of partial to this because I just feel like I'm sculpting more and I'm getting more, I don't know, I see more benefit from this, but I am not an expert, so I'm going to ask the expert, Gianna.
Yeah. So a jade roller is kind of like the gateway drug for like a gua sha tool. So it's not going to require much education. It's basically like a two-dimensional tool. I've found in my own personal experience with how much I use tools, like some of them like come apart. So you're just like basically rolling your face in a two-dimensional direction. You can't really like use the different angles very well, which is to say you're still going to get results with the jade roller, but you're definitely going to get better results with a gua sha tool because of like the techniques and the way that you're able to really like sculpt and lift the skin, and you're able to like just guide more fluid out. Like the jade roller is never going to like contour to your jawline in this comprehensive way, or your cheekbone or under the brow. It's just it's not going to fit. So the gua sha tool is really, it's like kind of like what the jade roller is derived from, and it requires like anyone can do it with a jade roller. So it's made it like possible for us to exist in this space in a lot of ways.
It was the opening to this way of life.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the jade roller. And I think it's like, if the jade roller is where you're at, like I'm totally great with it. But
I use it to press in my serums. That's how I feel like that's great for pressing in my serums.
Yeah, exactly.
To sculpt my face.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of see it the same way. So all
right.
So this kind of just like deepens the practice of what may start as jade rolling.
Got it. Okay, so how do we start? What's the first thing we can do as everybody's getting, I love the questions. Oh, and I'm going to have Gianna walk us through this, and then I promise I'm going to make sure that we're going to answer all the questions. But if I go back and forth, we'll never get through this because I can see how excited people are, which is amazing.
Yeah, so why don't you start with maybe like, you want like the perfect slip for your skin. So maybe like the products that you would use or that you use before you do gua sha, you can walk us through those.
Okay, so for me, I gua sha with one of two products, sometimes both. We have a daily vitamin infusion. So for those of you who are new, or probably most of you know the brand, the daily vitamin infusion is an oil-based serum. The base is squalane, so you get a beautiful, beautiful glide, but it also has incredible benefits. It's got plant ceramides in it. It's high in antioxidants and vitamins. It's just, for me, this is the serum that I just absolutely love. I liken it to squalane, but like on steroids, but very similar in texture. But the one that is like the fail-safe that everybody knows this brand for is our squalane facial oil. So I can put it up like this. It is 100% olive derived. It is one ingredient, squalane, like I said, derived from sustainably sourced olives. Your body produces squalane in abundance until your mid-20s, and it starts to decrease production, and that's when you start to see the difference in texture and tone, and maybe see some visible signs of wrinkling coming through, and that's basically the process of aging. But when I started to think about what can we bring into the line that's a moisturizer, I said, why not add what our body already produces, and we can get it from plants. And so that's our squalane facial oil. I'm going to use the squalane facial oil because why not? But you would get the same glide either way. Okay, so how I typically use either one of these, I do 1, 2. I'm going to put 3 just for good measure since we're going to gua sha it up. And this is why I did not wear well, I don't wear foundation.
Paige is like adding in what you would use to cleanse with. Just want to remember.
Yep. By the way, my face is cleansed and toned. I do have eye makeup on, but I don't have anything obviously on my face because that would be kind of counterproductive for what I'm doing. Okay, and then I also put it on my neck. I put it on my chest. And then I also, as everybody knows, serums, moisturizers, exfoliants, I always do the back of my hands. And if for any of you who are wondering if there's any effect of putting these things on the back of your hand, voila, like a baby. Okay, I am lubed up here.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and apply quickly the Wildling tonic and the oil.
Oh my gosh, your oil smells. I don't know what that, it's very like ferny smell. It's beautiful. Like I don't know which ingredient it is, but it's divine.
Yeah, we wanted to just really like reinforce the action of Gua Sha with our products. So we've used botanicals that kind of like do what Gua Sha does. So we want it to plump the skin. We want it to increase circulation. We want it to stimulate qi movement. So really we were like formulating our products specifically for use with Gua Sha. But like I was saying, you know, like any of the oils that you tend to use on your skin will work. And, you know, the hope is that as you're doing this, you're like working that substance like deeper into your skin. So I just want to say we're not going to like wash any of this off at the end. I think it goes without saying because you're probably all like skincare nerds. We are.
But you know, it is important for you to say that because I think people wonder, like, should I be washing this off? I don't. This is me, like, basically my process of putting on my serum, putting on my moisturizer, and then using the Gua Sha. Typically, if I'm just using squalane to Gua Sha, I'll then use another moisturizer on top of it, but I pushed it all in. I see people are being generous with the drops. Yeah, I'm usually a 2-drop person, but if I'm going in and I'm doing this and I know we're going to be talking, put another drop in. And someone says they squeeze the whole dropper. Oh my God, Sarah, seriously, sweetheart, you are using way too much squalane or daily vitamin infusion.
So I mean, like the main thing with any of the products is like, if you notice that your skin, that the tool isn't like slipping smoothly over your skin, if you notice there's like friction, you can always go in and add more product. It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't reapply in the middle of this. So if you notice in doing this that you're like, oh, I need more, or like you'll kind of get to know what works well for you. Like obviously Indy's like a 3-drop kind of girl. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm probably like a 5 or 6 drop of our product kind of girl. So it's
apply again. Like yeah. Oftentimes I see like it'll dry, like I might do one fit side and then I'm like, oh, this is a little bit drier, and then I'll put another drop on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
yeah, I noticed that too, because it's like depending on what my skin needs, I'll do one side and then I'll notice the other side of my face is like sucked it in. So
exactly.
Don't hesitate to reapply. The most important thing is that texture of that tool gliding over your skin. And so the first step of Gua Sha is that, you know, we're always going to start with the neck because the neck is the super highway. Yeah. So you also want to make sure that you're applying the product. I mean, always you want to apply your product to your like neck and your décolleté and just make sure that you're getting that like full upper body love, right? And the backs of your hands. I love that. So we're going to start with this U edge, and the U edge is going to open up the back of the spine. And this is the dew channel of the spine. And it's really important for lifting energy up. So as we do this, it's going to feel really good, but you're also actually like activating the meridian itself. So I'm going to use this U edge and I'm going to go up the back of the spine. You can use like pretty firm pressure here. And those muscles on either side of the spine right here are pretty tight for me. So sometimes I'll like start.
Mine are like, are you kidding me, girlfriend?
I know. I'm like, do it 2 to 3 times. And then I'm like, actually, I need more like 10 times. So you can really like do this as many times as you need. So once you've used that U edge up the back of the spine, I like to give a little wiggle at the top. And that kind of gets in the connective tissue, like right at the occiput right here. And then we're going to move to this beautiful comb edge. So the comb edge is going to go just on the outside of that spine. So I'm no longer going over the spine. Oh my gosh, I have the gnarliest bumps in my neck.
I'm like embarrassed. Thank God you guys can't hear the bumps that this is making. It's like crack, 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 crack.
And so this is an area of the body where you can use a lot of pressure. This is like a big muscle group. That is probably the only time you're going to hear me say that is like on the back of the neck right here. And I want you to be conscious. Like if you Google body Gua Sha, you're going to see people with some crazy marks on their bodies. So just know that if you really go crazy, you can make marks on your neck almost that look like cupping. And what this is it's almost like taking, if you were to drag the bottom of a lake, you would bring all of this like sediment up to the surface. And that's like all of the gunk that's coming up to be cleared out of the tissues. So I want you to know that that's what that is.
I bet if I turn around, guys are gonna see so much gunk. It's probably like really red.
Yeah, it like looks a little pink. Can look way crazier than that.
I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Someone asked also if you apply your moisturizer afterwards. Yes, I do. I make sure that this is sanitized and clean, and then I use it, and then I put my moisturizer on afterwards. I don't wash anything off.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, we clean this with like just skin-friendly soap and water. And sometimes when I'm in my treatment room, I actually like soak it in boiling hot water and then wash it. So there's that too. You want to be careful, it can chip. So you want to just put like a washcloth in the bottom of the sink. That goes for all Gua Sha tools because they're natural stone. I'm now moving to the side of the neck. I'm still using this comb edge because this is like the activating, stimulating edge. I like to give that, jiggle at the top. And now I've lightened up on the pressure because we're working up on that SCM and it's kind of intuitive. And then moving to the front of the neck 2 to 3 times, I'm going to really lighten up that pressure as well. So I'm going to do all one side of my face and then we'll compare before we move on to the other side. And then we're going to switch.
Like you can see this toner than that side.
I know, it's true. I like feel it so immediately. I'm going to then switch to this U edge and come with feather light pressure up the front of the throat. So this isn't about digging in there. This is literally, on the soft parts of the body, you think about like frosting a cake. Like you don't want to dig in. And this is to very gently stimulate the meridian on the front of the throat here, the red meridian that also is all about bringing like chi and blood upwards to nourish the skin. It nourishes so much else. That's like a gross simplification of this meridian, but.
Someone just asked, what is a meridian?
So it's like an acupuncture term. So we have a meridian for every organ system in the body. And these are like, think of them like superhighways where energy flows through the body, chi flows through the body. In the same way that we have vessels, it's kind of like challenging to explain it in a nutshell. But let's just call them like the highways of energy in the body.
Okay, that works.
So,
and so if you have a double chin, should you use it downward? I believe you're supposed to use it just upwards from here.
Yeah, do it upward. And then what can contribute to a double chin is fluid that can collect here because it's like excess lymphatic fluid. So I'm going to really press the bottom of this tool flat to the skin, and I'm going to anchor with the other hand, and I'm going to slide towards the jaw. And so I'm creating that kind of like micro pressure between the two. So if I was just using the tool alone, it like kind of pulls the skin, and I want to anchor it so that we're really encouraging any fluid to stretch out of the skin. And then I'll jiggle at the end, giving that like nice little stimulating lymphatic moving stroke at the end. You'll notice that I'm using the tool like really flat to the skin. And this is like the main mistake that I see. I kind of get cringy online when I see people using the tool like this because you're just not benefiting from the surface area that we really designed it to be used with. And it might even feel a little uncomfortable using it like that. So I've done about 4 strokes under the chin like this. And now I'm going to switch so that there's a U edge above and below the chin, the jawline. We're going to anchor and then slide out over that tight jaw of mine. And then I give like a little wiggle at the end. And this is like, the main thing that is hard to communicate in an online class is pressure. So I'm almost using just a little bit more than the weight of the tool. So if the tool just rested on my arm, I'm just like using a little bit more pressure than that. And then around the eyes, I literally am just going to use the weight of the tool. It's almost hard to use that little pressure on the skin. It's like
Yeah,
a challenge.
I definitely think I've been using it too hard because I'm like, let's get that.
I know. And that's like part of the thing. It's like you can work into those, spots. But the thing is, like, when you're moving lymphatic fluid, less pressure actually delivers better results. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, you can, to some extent, do what feels good, but really get to know what it feels like to be so self-loving and ease up on the pressure. So I'll do one more stroke here.
Oh my
You'll
gosh.
notice
Guys, can you see the difference already?
It's really remarkable. And I think it's kind of like blown out light that I'm in right here. But I always notice like such a difference of like how my cheekbone.
Whoa. I mean, you can, whoa, that's crazy. And I do this all the time.
I know it's cool to do it. Like usually I'll be like zoned out in front of the TV, but just at the end of the day after I put my kid to bed, I'm like, somebody. But when I do it in front of the mirror, I'm like, wow, this works. Which like I shouldn't have that revelation, but.
And you're supposed to anchor, right? To hold so you're not dragging. Is that the important thing?
Exactly. So you're anchoring, you're using gentle pressure. I like to go from the corner of the mouth and then sculpt up over that cheekbone and then go straight up into the hairline and give a wiggle. And
Someone
then
also asked if your jaw is crunching along. What if your jaw is crunching along? Is that too much?
you know what, your jaw, you might feel crunchiness even with light pressure, honestly, and like it feels so good to work on my jaw. So I would say right now the tool is right at like a 15-degree angle. My thumb is like snuck under it. Again, I'm not using it like this. Like it's never perpendicular except for certain techniques, but you can almost see that that's not as effective, right? You can see that like this isn't going to do the same thing as like having that firm pressure of the whole tool is just going to deliver better results. Okay, now we're going to work under the eyes. So we're nuzzling this U edge. So you've noticed we've used the U pretty much so far.
I just can't believe the difference. Like, guys, this is nuts.
I know, it's so remarkable, which is why like makeup artists are like, oh my gosh, I need that. I need it like
this one goes here, right? Like it just so we can see where it fits.
Yeah, so it's kind of like right alongside the nose. It's really flat. So again, I'm just going to show this. This is this is like the correct technique. I'm literally just using the weight of the tool and then sculpting up. I like to go up into the hairline because there are these like stimulating lifting points up there. And I feel the right side of my face going up. You can probably see it.
Yeah.
And it's not like this, okay? So you can just see that that's like not going to feel good on my skin. It's got to be flat. That's really, really important.
And the pressure here is, guys, is really light. Like just the
really light. Yeah, just it's like all about being self-loving. We're such a like type A culture of like more is more and less is more. But like really just get so like
then we can go in like this.
Micro movements. So then I like to use this little short edge. And one of the reasons I like to use this short edge too is like, again, I get that sinus puffiness. And I like to just kind of use this to also massage through the smile lines. And then continue on under the eye and then up. So this is a great move for anyone who has like sinus pressure or even like concerns around the nasolabial folds.
Oh, I have the sinuses, but I also have like, anybody who knows me, I have a very expressive face. Try taking pictures of me for social. My team wants to kill me most times, but this will help with those lines.
Yeah, this helps. And I'll just kind of like work the two. I'm not like pulling with my anchor hand, even though it looks like that. I'm just kind of holding to like gently massage through there. This is like a dream for me. And then there's an acupuncture point, just like on, this is like my Elvis lip move. There's an acupuncture point that opens the sinus. So like my husband makes fun of me because he'll like look over and I'm just like, it really feels so good. And the reason that it's so important to move fluid out of the skin for like anti-aging purposes, as much as I hate that word, is because, when you're collecting fluid anywhere in the face, it gets, heavy. And over time, if you're holding onto that fluid, then the skin can sag in those areas under like the heaviness. It actually starts to like stretch your skin more over time. So it's so important to like clear this out. And like on the right side of my face, I just already feel lighter. I feel
I don't know.
clear in my body.
The difference already. Look at this side, nothing here. This is lifted. Guys, I just like, I don't know. I think I lost 10 years.
I mean, I feel like this side of my face is already like so much more palpably.
Oh my, yeah.
Happy. So I like always notice that. And then when you,
oh, this is going to be
like,
good.
once you've done like the under, then you're going to move to the brow. And again, this is like tender, gentle pressure. So there's a few different concerns we can work on here. First is kind of like eyelid depuffing. This is like a big thing for a lot of people who sometimes carry their puffiness in the upper eyelid. That is definitely me on certain days. And I'm going so gentle. And I'm just following right along with that anchor hand.
I go so fast. I really need to. Whoa, guys, look, I have an eye. People want to know, where does all the fluid go?
So your lymphatic system does not pump itself. It pumps itself by moving, by exercising. So we're taking these lymphatic channels and we're clearing them out to here. And these are where all of your lymph nodes are, right? So all of us have had swollen lymph nodes. So it's going back to the lymph nodes, and then we're then going to do some downward strokes down the neck. This is where the lymph will drain, is right above the collarbone right here. So we're flushing everything down to where it can regenerate. But it's not like the blood system where it like pumps itself. It like us moving it actively does a lot. So that's a great question.
Should you be drinking a lot of water when you're washing, like just thinking about the flushing, etc.?
Totally. So I love to like drink a big glass of water to flush afterwards. And I also like to, like it's really good to hydrate. But it's like, if you're doing this, like we've had people write in and say, I noticed like weird stuff happening in my neck because the lymph is draining, especially someone who's like getting over a cold or something. Yeah. So we're like, always drink water after. It's so important. So I kind of like did this. I'm going to get up close here. Yeah. I did this like eyelid lifting, right? So I'm just like sweeping gently, and then always up at the end. And then you can also kind of modify it. So the muscle that makes, that furrows our brow is right in here.
People are saying about the 11s. We need help on the 11s.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. I promise not to forget about the 11s. But this muscle is so tight. So like sometimes I'll just use the edge of this tool and work like over that muscle to kind of break it up. And then I'll like hook this little U edge underneath my brow and I'll lift my whole brow. It looks like I'm using a lot of pressure. I'm not. And then up at the end. And this is to kind of like lift and soothe the tension in these tight brow muscles. And then you can do the same thing
look at this.
Over the top.
There's like a significant difference.
I know. I always just feel like
Christmas, guys.
It feels so good. So working over the brow is like a big place where I store tension because we're like a small startup and I'm still staring at my screen a lot. So
these days, especially during the pandemic, that's all we do is look at our screen.
I know. So this like feels so good. It's like tingling. And then once I've done that, once I've kind of like, and this is like personal, like, do you need it under the brow? Do you need it over the brow? Do you need it like right down the center of the brow? This is like what feels good to you. Let your body guide you. And then I'm going to use the comb edge and I'm just going to comb up through my whole brow. Again, not a lot of pressure. And I think it like the brow moves a lot. So it kind of looks like, oh, it looks like I'm really digging in there. I'm not, I promise. And so I'm going to then just like take it up through my whole forehead on the right side of my face. So I'm going to do like
another one. If you've had Botox in your brows, near the brows over a month ago, is it okay to do this moment? Asking for a friend. I got you, girl.
You know what? There's like interesting schools of thought on that. So the answer is yes. Like you're not going to like move your Botox around if it's been like more than 3 weeks. You're probably not even going to move it around if it's been like more than 24 hours, but I prefer people wait a few weeks. And that being said, it's like, you know, part of this is awakening the chi. So I have to, like, my disclaimer is like, maybe your body will metabolize the Botox more quickly in doing this practice. However, you're also maintaining more of the blood and sheath flow through the area. So maybe that's like the best case scenario, is that maybe you get Botox more often, but you're keeping the tissue like healthier. And if you are getting Botox, I always recommend like allowing it to like wear off completely and letting those muscles come back alive completely before you get more injections. So yeah, waiting a few weeks. Yeah, I agree. Wait a few.
I'm afraid of needles, so don't know, but it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get questions on this too.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely like a big question. So now I'm just like working up. I've worked up through the whole forehead, and this is just the basic ritual. So I'll do the other side, and then we'll get specifically into like how to address wrinkles and also how to work into other areas of the face. So
I look lopsided, which I'm loving.
We're gonna do both sides. So after I've gone like this comb edge up through the whole forehead, and it feels so good, I almost want to like keep going. Then I'm just gonna buff it out with this smooth edge. And this tool is flat to my skin right now. I am just literally massaging it out. Can you imagine, like, for any of you who've like had too much to drink at some point in your life, like putting this in the fridge if you've like had a good time, and then just doing this to your forehead, like, or even just setting this tool over your eye, headache, migraine, like any of that.
Everybody knows I put my Gua Sha, all my tools go in my freezer in my bathroom. Like,
oh yeah, totally. It feels so good. And so these definitely can withhold heat and cold because it's like a really ancient stone. So like, that's what they're made to do. So now the last thing to do is our lifting strokes with this comb edge. And so I'm just going to basically do these lifting strokes up through my whole face. And I like to anchor kind of like around the mouth a little bit because that's where the skin moves a lot. But like this side of my face, like my skin's not moving very much. So I don't feel inclined to necessarily do as much anchoring with the upward strokes.
This is awesome. I might not even need like contouring.
Oh my gosh, feels so good. You can really work those.
Oh, I've got a ton of laugh lines.
And I'll get into like using the comb edge. So now I've done the right side of my face. I definitely feel like far puffier over here. The last thing we're gonna do is these like nice downward strokes. Like again, this is where the lymph nodes are. So we're going all the way down to the top of the collarbone and then giving that wiggle gently. Just like guide anything that needs to drain out of your face right on down. It's like taking out the trash. So your lymphatic fluid also like gathers any toxins that are in your skin. It's really like the waste disposal from your tissues. So this is why it's like so beneficial, you know, for people who deal with like a lot of breakouts. You can like, we'll have people like just do this for a while before they actually start working, you know, on their face until the skin really clears. Cause you don't really want to be doing this over like an active breakout. Like you can work around it, but you're never going to go over a scar or directly over a mole or directly over cystic acne. It's not going to feel good. So I think it's good to like make that disclaimer. Maybe I should have put that at the beginning, but yeah. So on the neck, I'm still pretty flat. I'm not perpendicular.
I think everybody's shocked that you can go down. You should be going down. I think everybody's so used to just the upward.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
But that, you know, when you're done.
Love like upward to lift, but then down to drain. And I actually like I'll feel stuff moving again because I have that tendency towards like kind of carrying some stuff in my face from allergies and whatnot. And I just only have had allergies that I've noticed since I've lived in LA. So I think it's like all the gunk. So we're now going to do the other side. I'm going to start with the back of my spine again. We'll just because I can't get enough of the stroke, I go on either side of the spine. again, I want you to see like how the angle of this tool on my neck, probably more like 45 degrees.
I have to say, I've used quite a few gouaches. What I love is how perfect the shape is of this. I mean, it's like you came to my face and you're like, oh, this is the one for you. It's unbelievable.
You have no idea how many times we went back and forth. We're like a millimeter. Oh no!
Oh my gosh, nailed it. It just. I mean, I could just sit here going like this all day. How long should you do this per session?
So obviously, we're like working through this pretty slowly, in the interest of education. But I would say like when I'm doing Gua Sha, I can do like a really good facial Gua Sha session on myself in like 10 minutes. And if I'm just doing, if I'm just doing certain areas, it can definitely be less. So obviously we're like really getting into this, but I don't want you to feel like, oh, if I don't have like an hour and a half, how am I going to integrate this into my life? It's like, when I was driving more around LA and I was in like dead standstill traffic, I would like get my Gua Sha in on the first time. Like that's such a Californian thing to say, but like, you kind of get it in where you can. So I'm now going to work up the back of the neck, just on the either side of my spine. And I'm using the comb edge. So again, we're going up, and this is the firm pressure area. For some people, this is actually going to feel better to like go down. And this is kind of like based on ergonomics. So I encourage you, I showed up on the other side because we kind of have this whole concept of like up in the beginning and then down at the end. But I just want to throw that in there. Like if it really feels better for you to go down on the back of the neck, which actually like I can get more pressure if I'm doing that, know that you can do that. You don't have to like be so rigid to, this concept. But as a general rule, up to start, down to finish. So we're now going to go up the side of the neck. And that's where we start easing up on the pressure. And then the front of the neck.
And then you guys all glad you tuned in to watch me Gua Sha?
I definitely am glad. This is like the side where I have to be like, keep talking. We have this joke. It's like you start to get Gua Sha stoned, where you're like so relaxed. So I'm gonna just repeat up this Ren meridian here. Feather light pressure.
Feel it draining, which is a very weird sensation.
It is a weird sensation. So then I'm going to work under the chin, under the jawline on the other side. Tool is flat. And I've made contact with like my whole under chin area. It's not like just under the jawbone. It's like full, as much contact as possible with the under neck area.
Rebecca, I love that you said you use yours in the car. Of course you do.
Oh, yes. I mean, like, honestly, like, even just like, not with my eyes closed, but like certain points, I'm so into it. So I'm now going to switch to having this U edge above and below the jaw. I'm going to anchor with my anchor hand. And sometimes with the anchor hand, I actually like to follow along, especially the areas that I really want to sculpt. Because you just want to keep that tension between the tool and the hand. I see a question on how often to do this, how many times a week. We say 2 to 3 times a week for best results. So the tool is, not totally flat. Again, it's like between 45 and a 15-degree angle. You want to feel more contact with like this much of the tool to your skin as opposed to like just this.
So that people know exactly how to feel it.
Yeah, you want to feel a chunk of the skin connected to your skin. I then like to do the corner of the mouth. There's definitely like such thing as too much, because you don't want to do this. Really, you don't need to do this more than once a day. You're not going to get like better results necessarily. I don't think there's such thing as like too much lymphatic drainage because it's just like there's not going to be any more fluid to drain. It's like, again, you're not going to like increase the results from doing that.
And you typically do 3 strokes?
Yeah, 3 strokes, 3 to 5. I say 2 to 3, but then I do like 3 to 5, I notice. And again,
I'm going to do 3 to 5.
Yeah, I take it all the way up around the eye and into the hairline, into these like acupoints that lift, and then I give that stimulating wiggle. And then I'm going to go on like the side of the nose and feather light pressure, really flat tool. I'm going to work up and around and lift.
I want everybody to like post pictures and tag us in it, because I can't wait. Do one side and the other and tag us, because I cannot wait to see all these differences.
Honestly, I wish that I had remembered to have you take a picture before, because it's like so.
We recorded it.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Even
though I do this all the time, I definitely have not been doing it right. And I'm good about this, but I'm not hitting the right places. I think I'm like starting too far out, not in here, which is going to do nothing for this.
Right. Yeah, it's like it really helps to kind of like have that refresher. So I've switched to this short little edge, because this again is like how I like to focus a little bit more on the sinus area and go around the eye. My good old-fashioned Elvis lip. Smoothing out the nasolabial fold.
So people want to know, but they can do it once a day.
Once a day is fine, yeah.
I'm always so nervous doing around here, because this is where I'm noticing my fine lines bothering me. But I shouldn't be afraid if I'm anchoring and not pulling, since I'm using some light touch and I'm using oil.
Light pressure, and the reality is that like your skin is designed to move. It's like your skin is designed to like move when you talk. It's a very like alive organ. So it's a very intentional micro tension that we're creating. It's very intentional, and it's like Britta was saying the other day, she was like, this concept that we're going to like stretch our faces out and they're just going to like fall off just like needs to die. Like, it's not true. Our skin is resilient, and it's like a beautiful organ. And like with the results that we see, like working on all skin types, like it's just really, the proof is in the pudding. It's like no one that we're seeing is, you know, looking like they're more aged as a result of having done this, especially like knowing the tips that you're learning today.
And I know better. It's just like that we're taught that way. Like, don't touch your eyes, don't rub your eyes, stop furrowing your back, you know, like it's all of that.
Totally. I'm going to get to Gua Sha on the forehead for like any sort of wrinkles in just like 3 minutes. So I will come back to the question on forehead wrinkles. So remember, I'm going like on the eyelid, just kind of following along.
I don't know why I'm going in like that. I don't need to do it. You were
light pressure, and then up at the end. Yeah, I'll get up close just so everyone can see. And then again, like for
nobody wants me to get up close.
For these tight muscles, I'm using that U edge, and then I'll go up and under the brow just to release tension there, lifting it up at the end, and then I'll also go over the brow, and then kind of like right down the center of the brow. And then once I've done that, and it feels so nice and lifted and like far more relaxed, I'll start just combing through the brow. And I don't know about you guys, but like I feel like I could just take a nap right now. Like
I feel so relaxed. Sarah just read, I feel so relaxed.
Yeah, it feels so good.
And by the way, the people who are asking the questions in the question area, I promise we will go through them.
We will definitely go through. And I'm just going to continue combing up through the forehead. This point, yin tong, is a very spirit calming point. So if you're ever feeling stressed out, you can literally just comb straight up through the center of the forehead, and that is going to calm your mind so beautifully.
Oh, Rebecca, we should have these at our desk.
We should all have them at our desk, honestly. So once we've combed through that entire forehead, we're going to just give it a smooth out. Again, the forehead skin doesn't move very much, so I'm not necessarily like anchoring.
Maybe yours doesn't, but have you seen mine?
When you're, I mean, it's still like forehead skin is like moves a little, but compared to like cheeks,
I know.
you're pretty good. Okay, so comb edge up the rest of the face.
People want to know, should they do it in front of a mirror?
Maybe if you're just starting out, you can like, it might help you, but we're really encouraging people to like take this eventually out of the bathroom and into your bed, onto your sofa, you know, into like a relaxing place so that you can really kind of zone out with it. That being said, some people still like to do it in front of the mirror, and I don't want to say there's anything wrong with that because it will kind of like help you kind of get through this.
Do it on your Zoom calls. That way you can watch yourself while you're doing it.
Do it on your Zoom calls. Exactly. That'll be a new trend. Send us shots of
Zooming.
I've like just seen like one of the real gems of this time has been like being able to like see some sort of memes, etc., of what people are doing on their Zoom calls. There's some weird stuff happening.
Oh, there is.
My favorite was like one of the bosses, like it was early on, and like the boss like turned herself into a potato and couldn't change herself back. So that like her whole team was on a Zoom with her and she was just like a talking potato the whole time.
I love it.
That was really good. Makes life interesting. Okay, so now I've done that whole side of the face. I'm feeling a lot more even. And I'm just going to go ahead and give those like downward strokes.
I forget to do this part. So now I'm just snoring.
So essential for depuffing. This is like the depuffing ultimate move.
I love reading all of your comments. I feel so relaxed. My boyfriend thinks I'm stoned. Well, kind of are. I love it. I love it. Dilprina's going to take a nap instead of being on her client call.
Feels so good. Okay, so now we've done that. Now, some tips that I like to add on. So the one that people are most excited about most of the time is how do you address a wrinkle? We use this comb edge and we use it like back and forth over any line, almost like a little pencil eraser. And what that does is it kind of like confuses the tissue that is the line or wrinkle. So you would kind of like go into the area, open it up, and then go back and forth.
What type of pressure?
It's really light, like just kind of really think like pencil eraser.
I'm going to erase my eyebrows.
I don't know the last time I used a pencil, but you can all like kind of conjure that up. And so you're going to go into those areas.
Oh, it feels so good.
Spread the line open. And the reason that you do that is that it's almost like a wrinkle is like a little bit of scar tissue. It's like this habitual tissue that like bunches. And so when you go across it horizontally, you're stimulating collagen. You are, you know, like telling your body, like bring blood and chi to this area, do like tissue repair. So that's essentially what you're doing.
So I love this. Do you go the same direction as the wrinkle?
You're working perpendicular to the wrinkle.
Oh, so like for me, I would have to go like this because I have all these lines. So I would do this.
Lines, exactly. So on the forehead, you would go and then you'd smooth and you'd go back and forth. And I like to kind of work the forehead like that and then smooth and then work the forehead like that and smooth.
Still have them.
They will.
Like every day, I'm going to be, every call, Rebecca, anybody has with me, I'm going to be sitting here doing this. Yes, I will be saving this and putting it on YouTube. Absolutely.
So you're going perpendicular to the wrinkle, and then like even like these lines,
Mhm.
I like to use my tongue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is great.
So Britta doesn't teach it that way, but like everyone does it like slightly different. Like I find it challenging to kind of open up through these lines and work in there. So I started using my tongue. Obviously, I can't do that when I'm working on a client. And for any lines that you find around the mouth, this is also great for lip plumping.
Oh, here I go. I'm getting in right in there.
Mm-hmm. And you can use work over the lip.
Gianna, watch out. I'm going to do this.
I know. If you do this for a few minutes, you are going to notice that your lips are so tingly. And then for crow's feet, we like to hold a finger just to the outside of the skin. And then that's going to stabilize the skin. And then you can use this technique all through the area of concern. Awkward with my left hand, but working it out.
While you're doing that, I'm going to just go to the questions that we had.
And then also, I think we got through that, right?
Yep.
The questions there?
We got another one. If possible, I'll read you all of them and then you can say. Okay. So one is, if possible, can we also discuss moves with Gua Sha to help with TMJ or bruxism, jaw tightness that literally has led to uneven jaw shape? So that's one question.
Mm-hmm.
Total newbie. I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I have no clue what time is best to fit into my daily life. AM, PM. I don't think it matters, right?
Does any time that works for you.
Right. And what order in my skincare? End, start, middle. I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gianna, like wash your face. Don't forget, and wash your hands. You're touching your face. You want to make sure you have a clean surface. I then use a toner, and then I like to then use either an oil-based serum or an oil to then go into my Gua Sha. So if someone's using vitamin C in the AM, is it okay to partner with a Gua Sha? That I don't think that's
I mean, whatever you're using, you will use your like oil tonic like toner first, then you'll do Gua Sha, and then you'll apply all the other skincare over that. So however you like to layer.
And then someone just said, can you Gua Sha to get rid of headaches? So the headaches and how do you deal with the jaw shape?
Great. So one trick that I love, I'll just like show this really quick and then move on to those, is I like to also comb through the scalp because there are all these meridians that lift. And I like to do this last for, if I have like hair product in and stuff. I don't today, but if you do, you might want to wipe off your tool before we move on to the other things. So if you're working with, I just love the way it feels in my scalp. I feel like I'm more awake after I do that. And so if you have this type of tool, you can work into the points and you can use like a lot of pressure because I'm not, again, like this is one of the strongest muscles in the body. I'm not dragging the tool through this. I'm kind of using acupressure in the tight spots. So the spots that I notice are like under the cheekbone here and then down into the belly of the muscle. And you can hold those spots and do something called like press rub. So you can press and rub into any tight spots. And that's also what you would do with the Empress Wand. So the Empress Wand really is all about facial tension. And it almost feels like this big, firm, like thumb. And then once you're holding that point, a good trick is to open and close the mouth. Because it'll change like the type of pressure that you're putting there. And I'm probably going to fall asleep in a second. So I gotta like get through it.
Wow.
And then the other side. So with the Empress Wand, this is like my favorite tool to work on the jaw. And again, with like the Empress Stone, like I will get into it too, as well as like this little edge, I can put it underneath the cheekbone and kind of work it through there. So between the two, I love that. There's also these points that are down like towards the base of the jaw.
I'm gonna be sleeping so well tonight.
I know, me too. I'm feeling so good. So then I also like to use the Empress wand like in the sinus area.
Wow.
I love this for like, again, getting into the nasolabial folds and also opening the sinuses. And then I also love to use this like underneath the entire like brow bone, because this is going to be really good for anyone with headaches. And then, oh my God, I cannot tell you, my favorite moves with this tool are going back and forth over these tight muscles of the neck. This is like number one for helping your headaches. So anyone who asked about headaches, this will change your life. Like, we've had so many people write in. The neck tension and the shoulder tension goes hand in hand with the jaw tension. They are not different. So,
oh my God.
You're just going to be like, I get chills over my entire body when I do this, and it feels so good. Like, I'm just like so grateful for this tool's existence because it changes my whole state of being. So I've got to do the other side. Otherwise, my neck's going to be sad.
Like, who needs my kids to give me massages? Like, I could do this myself, because the problem is I can't get in there.
I
Now
know.
I can. I never knew. I've been sitting with this beautiful thing and never knew I was using it.
I know. And then you can also get like the top of the shoulder, which you wouldn't want to do if you're pregnant. It's just like a contraindicated point. And then another area where
I get it right in here.
That pectoral muscle, that brings our shoulders forward and is like a very heart closing maneuver. So I also use it in here. So that is,
oh my gosh,
our full thing. And I'm like, where am I? What's my name?
Gianna, this was amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. I came into this so tight, and I feel so much more relaxed, and I can't believe how, like, oh my gosh. I mean, I definitely need to spend a little bit more time in this one, because you can see this is higher, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's always going to be some irregularities, but I just feel like the energy is open in my face. And I just want to say we just created like our body system.
Oh my gosh, I'm a big body brush person. I have been dry brushing for years.
We have like our dry brush, and then we have like our 2 body products, and then we have our stone. And this is like really awesome for lymphatic drainage and also like cellulite in the whole body. So this edge is really like an epic magical edge. You won't find an edge like this on any other Gua Sha tool. And yeah, it's just a really special tool. So this is we have our Empress collection, our Empress stones, which is like one facial family. And then we just started launching our aura. So it'll make like your whole body feel like this. Because I felt we
have to have you back on to do dry brushing and body sculpting, because I think that
you make such beautiful body products too. So it's like it's a really good mix and match. So just wanted to like share that, you know, if your bodies are feeling like, what about me? Then we have tools for that too.
So beneficial. I mean, like I said, I've been dry brushing for I don't know how many years. Certainly as somebody who, you know, argues with her rheumatoid arthritis, it just helps so much just to continually do it. And it doesn't take long. Like, people I think it's going to take, it literally takes me 3-4 minutes to dry brush. I mean, you go up. So I think that's great. Guys, okay. So for people wondering, website, etc. So please let everybody know how they can find you if they're not completely obsessed right now. I think they will be. There you go. Paige Dory said the Wildling team is offering 10% off on the Wildling purchase with the code INDIELOVE, INDIELOVE. All caps. I mean, Gianna knows I travel with my stones. I've been a user and obsessed with them for a while. In fact, I think since you launched in Credo, I saw it. I was like, oh, I need one of these because my gouaches tended to break and I knew this was a real stone. And
Yeah.
then you have such incredible tutorials on YouTube, on your website, through Instagram. So guys, check it out. It is incredible.
We are, we just restored our Instagram that was down for like almost 48 hours, and we were literally so upset about it. But now we're back. So we are at Wildling_beauty, and we release tutorials every Tuesday. So we'll have another one coming out later today. And then we also have, we have our website, which is www.wildling.com. And it's the easiest place to really get to know us is Instagram, Wildling_beauty.
Love it.
So thanks, Paige, for linking that. And follow us there. Again, my name is Gianna, and I'm one of the co-founders. My other co-founders, Britta and Jill, are just like magical partners to
I
have.
haven't met them. This
Yes.
is my whole
I know. You will. You will. We'll all connect at some
I
point.
know, I would love that. Thank you so much, guys. I promise I'm putting this up on YouTube. So they'll be up. I think this was also streaming to Facebook. Fingers crossed I did it correctly. So Gianna, again, thank you so much for the generosity of your time right now. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I know everybody's, I mean, you can see everybody's loving this.
Well, thank you so much for having me and having us. And I just like love that we're able to collaborate and like share how
Me
to like
too.
use our products like among other.
That's the thing. You can use the products you have. But I've yet to experience tools like this. And that's why I really wanted people to know how special they are. Also, guys, on Instagram, we're going to be doing a little giveaway later on this week. So check out our accounts later on this week. Oh, thank you. And Paige is amazing. She already got this. That's right. We owe each other here, Paige. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to start sooner, but we were like, where's our account?
No stress. No stress. There's no stress on this. Everybody have a great rest of your day or evening. And thank you for joining us. And yeah, stay safe.
Bye. Thank you.